Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a massive shift in the artificial intelligence landscape. We're unpacking a brand new analysis from August 2026 that details the explosive rise of x.ai's latest proprietary model, Grok 4.6. Now, if you've been following the AI space even a little bit, you know that the competition at the absolute highest tier is completely cutthroat right now. But what Grok 4.6 has managed to pull off, and honestly how they did it, is kind of forcing the entire industry to rethink the math behind top-tier AI. We're going to break down exactly how this model strikes this crazy balance between high-end intelligence and a shockingly low cost.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with joining the AI frontier. Then we'll look at standout agentic performance, followed by turn efficiency in action, and finally, we'll wrap up with the Pareto price advantage.
All right, Section 1, joining the AI frontier. Let's see exactly how Grok 4.6 reached that top tier.
To really wrap your head around the scale of this achievement, you just need to know one specific number: 61. That is Grok 4.6's brand new score on the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index. Out of a massive pool of 184 different models evaluated, Grok 4.6 has snagged the number 6 spot overall for intelligence, maxing out their scale at 4 out of 4 units. But here's the thing. A score of 61 isn't just a static data point. It's a massive statement about momentum.
Because when you look at the growth, it's wild. Grok 4.6 gained 5 points over its predecessor, Grok 4.5, in just over a month. And what's even more staggering? That represents a 23-point jump compared to Grok 4.3. In the world of large language models, closing a 23-point gap in that kind of time window is just phenomenal engineering. It absolutely proves that x.ai is moving at a breakneck pace.
And that 61 places them right in the thick of the broader ecosystem. Grok 4.6 is now sitting directly on the frontier line, perfectly tied with OpenAI's GPT 5.6 Sol. Literally, the only models sitting ahead of it right now are Anthropic's Claude 5 family. You've got Claude Sable 5 at 62 and Claude Opus 5 at 63. Grok has officially clawed its way back to the absolute intelligence frontier.
Which brings us to Section 2, Standout Agentic Performance, proving Grok's smarts in complex tasks.
Before we get into the actual benchmarks, let's just ground ourselves for a second. When we throw around the phrase agentic performance, what are we actually talking about? Well, we're talking about an AI's ability to act as a truly autonomous agent. This means handling complex knowledge work, navigating terminal use, and managing tricky multi-step customer service interactions. It's not just about an AI answering a trivia question anymore. It's about giving the AI a really complex goal and trusting it to independently figure out the steps to get there.
Now, what's super fascinating is how incredibly tight the race is when you look at specialized benchmarks. Take the Tau-cubed banking benchmark, for instance. Grok 4.6 scores 50.7%. That places it in the top 2 globally for this specific metric, sitting right alongside Qwen 3.8 Max, which only edges it out by a fraction of a percent at 51.3. It shows a really high level of competence in highly structured financial data environments.
And that intelligence is remarkably consistent across different testing arenas, too. On the GDP Val-AA v2 benchmark, Grok 4.6 hits a 1753 ELO rating, the chess-style ranking system, which puts it right in the overlapping confidence intervals of Claude Fable 5 and Qwen 3.8 Max. Then, on Terminal Bench v2.1, which tests the model's ability to use command-line interfaces, it scores an 88.4%, putting it right in line with the absolute leading models.
On top of all that, Artificial Analysis debuted Grok 4.6 on their private benchmark called AA Briefcase. This one is designed to test long-horizon agentic knowledge work. Grok 4.6 achieved an ELO of 1577 here. Now, while that keeps it slightly behind the Claude Opus 5 family, it firmly establishes Grok 4.6 in the Fable 5 tier. The reviewers even noted that it performs consistently strong across rubric rating, presentation, and analytical quality.
Let's move into Section 3. Turn efficiency in action, doing more with less. This is where things get really interesting. It's a total David versus Goliath situation. When tackling these complex, long-horizon tasks, Grok 4.6 is completing them in roughly 53 turns, using about 500 million input tokens. Now compare that to Claude Opus 5, which takes about 103 turns and uses roughly 2 billion input tokens to do the same thing.
Grok is literally getting the job done using half the back-and-forth turns and only a quarter of the context tokens.
So, the crucial takeaway here is perfectly captured by a quote from the analysis itself. It is notably turn efficient. Why does this matter for you? Well, out in the real world of software development, a turn-efficient model means way faster resolutions for your end users, noticeably less latency, and significantly less computational waste. You are, quite literally, doing more with less.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, the Pareto price advantage, the headline cost revelation. To really get the weight of this, we first need to understand a specific term the analysts use to describe Grok 4.6, the Pareto frontier. In economics and engineering, the Pareto frontier is basically that ultimate optimal balance point in a system. It's the absolute edge of efficiency where you physically cannot improve one variable, say the intelligence of an AI model, without making another variable, like the cost, worse.
To see exactly how Grok 4.6 manages to hit this frontier, you just have to look at its pricing structure. The headline pricing is completely unchanged from Grok 4.5. You're looking at $2 per 1 million input tokens and $6 per 1 million output tokens. But there is a massive hidden discount here, cache hits. When the AI can reuse previous context, those hits are priced at just 50 cents per million tokens. Yes, that's a slight bump from 4.5's 30 cents, but honestly 50 cents for a million tokens on a model this incredibly smart, that is an aggressively competitive pricing strategy from x.ai.
When you stack that up against the competition, it creates a massive economic advantage. Think about it. We have Grok 4.6 at $2 input, $6 output. Now compare that to its frontier peers. Claude Opus 5 is sitting at $5 for input and a massive $25 for output. And GPT 5.6 Sol, that's $5 input and $30 output.
If you run the math on that, Grok 4.6 represents a steep discount of over 60% compared to the industry's heaviest hitters. Think about that for a second. It is offering true, frontier-level intelligence, but it's priced a lot closer to a mid-tier model.
The analysts actually broke this down to a super practical metric, the cost per task. Running these complex agentic tasks through Grok 4.6 averages out to about 84 cents per task. And what's wild is that this perfectly matches the exact cost per task of Kimi K3, which is a competing model. But Grok 4.6 is delivering a demonstrably higher level of intelligence for that exact same 84 cents.
All of this data leads the analyst to one very powerful conclusion. This places Grok 4.6 firmly on the intelligence vs cost per task Pareto frontier. x.ai has basically parked this model in the ultimate sweet spot. It's highly capable, it's highly turn efficient, and it is just astonishingly cheap for the caliber of performance it actually delivers.
So, that leaves us with a pretty critical question to end on today. With Grok 4.6 matching top-tier intelligence at just a mere fraction of the cost of its rivals, what exactly is the new standard for enterprise AI value? Have we actually reached a point where paying a $30 output premium is simply no longer justifiable? Let that sink in as you consider your own AI stack. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring the frontier.